Hi, I'm Nolyn Hill. I've lived all over the country, and a few months ago, I pulled up stakes and moved here. And now I'm showing you the Texas Panhandle with fresh eyes. Welcome to the View from the Hill. After being closed for over 40 years, the Mulkey Theater in downtown Clarendon has finally reopened its doors. With the popularity of modern multiplexes, theaters like this one are deteriorating and being torn down. But over the last 11 years, more than $1 million was invested to restore the Mulkey to its former glory and bring this classic cinema back to life.
The actual site was originally a theater before this. It burned down, and in 1946 they reopened it as the Mulkey, and it was opened by the Mulkey family. That's where the name came from. And at that point it gave them 2 theaters in town, so Clarendon was a big town with 2 theaters, and it was open until the mid-'80s. And at that point, TV had taken over and the theater closed. So it sat here for quite a few years. Different people owned it and were going to do things with it. And finally, back about 10 years ago, the roof was getting in such bad shape that the Clarendon Economic Development Corporation stepped in and bought the building. And then over the years, put together a plan to revitalize it. Started working on some of the miscellaneous steps. It had fallen into really bad disrepair and people would break into it and things like that. Literally pieces were falling off of it. The old letters up on top of the marquee were in really bad shape, and parts of the sign itself where the letters now go to show what the movies are going to be, the backlit lighting, parts of that were starting to fall out, and of course the paint job was horrible and things like that. It looked really, really bad. And so being able to come back in and redo it has really made the town look a lot better. We got the neon all redone. That was one of the first things that was done a few years ago, was to get all the neon redone and get the outside refinished so it would look really good. It's amazing, if you sit down here at night, the lights come on automatically. And if you sit down here at night, you'll see people off the highway driving through will actually stop and come down and take pictures, selfies with it and things like that. People will stop. And we're in the process right now of getting a couple more signs redone that were neon to kind of help for the whole look of the town. So it'll make it look a lot better. And you know, numerous people that lived here, grew up here, come back for events like the Chuck Wagon Cook-Off or home football games. They're all really amazed at how good it looks. And of course, people that have come into the theater that remember coming here as kids, etc., are amazed that it looks as good as it did after all those years. A lot of the people with the town felt that this was a really good project to spend some money on to make the town look a lot better. By the time you start putting in audio-visual systems, redoing air conditioning, repainting it, buying seats, redoing the outside, all those things, it's an expensive world to be able to get a lot of that redone. Of course, all the old wiring and plumbing in it was from the 1940s, so it needed to be redone. So that was the biggest thing, was finding the money and being able to get everybody on board to do it. By doing it as a sort of a city project, then it has come back, and we'll be able to do shows and things like that, be able to do live performances. We can do presentations that if people want to do, we can do one-act plays, a lot of things like that that we're able to do at the theater now that you couldn't do back when it was just a movie house. We've had what we call our Mulkey Block Party for 6 years to help raise funds to get the theater up and going, and some miscellaneous grants and things like that, and money's come along. And finally here about a year ago, finally got all the money put together to get the thing open. And it was reopened on the 25th of May of this year. Clarendon has managed to do a really good job of staying relevant and also starting to redo a lot of their downtown things and work on things along 287 to keep the town looking good and vibrant.